the problem?
Do I have
Hey,
to get you an
that's a nice
alarm?
shirt, by the way.
Thanks. You have one coming too.
All
And
right.
I'll show the patrons their version in a sec
Okay.
when we get to the Patreon part. So then we can say, hey, this is what you could get if you up your donation to $5.
I have $1,600.
It only takes 3 years to get one.
Right.
No, we'll just sent out soon.
I do have some other shirt ideas. I'm gonna post up, not just for us, but I got
I don't
some.
know if I would go back to. You'll see when you get them. These feel a little thin. Now that I'm wearing it, it doesn't feel as thin. But when I held it up to the light, I'm like, wow, that's pretty see through. Yeah.
Well,
So
I
check
would
the quality when you get yours.
I would love to have posted them on T Public, but
You're banned.
you know what? They gave me
You're banned for life.
they sent me an email. I actually told them I'm not banned. I told them, well, I'm not gonna find the email right this second, that
Please.
I'd used several browsers, um, some incognito mode, and logged in, and still could not upload my designs. I was getting this error that said, what was the error? I saved it anyway. I was getting an error, and it would say can't process it. I know my size of the image wouldn't work one of the products, which was the wall art. But I had turned it off. So I'm like, so their reply and their support ticket was, try clearing your cache. I'm like, did I just not say I used incognito mode and several different browsers?
But you didn't say you cleared your cache.
There was no cache.
I
It was
know.
incognito mode.
I know. I know. I know.
No plugin. Oh, disable plugins and try your clearing cache. No, that did not work. So, so frustrating.
You ready
I
to
don't know.
start?
Yeah, might as well. I'm done
Okay.
ranting now.
Oh, I didn't. Hold on. We got to do our Facebook share.
Oh, let me go pull that up.
Bat and the cats, right?
Believe me, if you walked past the cat boxes, you wouldn't have walked past them twice.
Hey, don't you clean them every day?
I do.
How many cats do you have now?
I have 4 cats.
Oh,
So it's
okay.
like I have to.
And one litter box?
No. There's 2 of them side by side, but no, I had to take care of it right then.
Right, your pages and profiles. Technorama podcast.
What can I share?
And
You know,
share as me. Hey, at least they didn't change the whole freaking profile over to the Technorama profile.
Facebook, I'm telling you what.
They're paying too much attention to the metaverse, not on their core product.
Yeah,
That's why
that's
they're
about right.
losing the game right now.
Yeah, stupid. Okay, yeah, I go to our page and gives me this weird. Oh my gosh, this is frustrating. Stupid.
Okay, do you want to do that
Share
while I do the
public.
intro?
Here, fine.
There you
I
go.
did it. I
Okay,
did it.
yay! Yeah, I'll give you.
Hey, thanks, Facebook.
Have one of those too.
Yeah, right.
All right, ready to start a podcast?
Yes. I'm
Recording
good and angry
in
now.
3. Don't worry, the chat room will cool you down. I'm sure.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1. Technorama episode 691. To the guy who invented zero, thanks for nothing. The name of this show is Null.
No.
Welcome to Technorama. This is the show that takes a lighthearted look at tech, science, sci-fi, and all things geek. If this is your first time joining us, thank you. Thank you very much. You don't know what you've been missing for the last 17 and a half years.
I know.
Yes, it's been that long. See the shirt? It says Technorama, established 2005.
That's right.
We're
Look at
glad
that.
you're here anyway. And for those of you that have been with us since 2005, hot diggity dog.
Yeah.
Welcome back.
I texted you. I don't know if you saw the like a web preview of the link that I sent you, but the link I sent you, I happened to find on. I was playing around with Podcast Addict as a podcast client,
Yes.
and you can search for people. I said, "Well, I'll search for me," and of course, right at the bottom was podcast 411 the interview with Chuck and Craig.
Did you listen to it?
Oh, I listened to it on the way home. Yeah,
'Cause I
today.
how terrible were we back then?
Uh, Even Rob and ourselves sounded a little dry. Now it's kind of everybody's kind of a little loosey goosey. Everybody, we've had a lot of experience with it. But what was funny is that wasn't from like 2006,
Yeah.
and he kept saying things like, "Well, for you two guys who've been podcasting for so long," I was like, "Wow!" But we talked about there was a lot of things in there. I was like, "Oh yeah, I almost forgot about that little not nitpicks. That's not what I was gonna say. Little pieces of
Nuggets.
information." I was like, "Wow, I almost forgot about doing that." But uh, because technically, I think a lot. Well, I say I got my start in 2004, but I was actually helping out other podcasters. I didn't really have my own show, but I was into it, and I mentioned that too, and it was kind of cool to hear some of that and some of the stuff that you were doing, like the Gmail podcast and radio
A collection
yesterday.
of hints, tips, and tricks to be more effective in Gmail. Yeah, I still remember the tagline. We didn't introduce ourselves. My name's Chuck
Right.
Tomasi from sunny Phoenix, Arizona, and that's Craig Stepp.
That's right. I'm Craig Stepp. How you doing?
All right. Now that you know who we are, for those people that are just joining us, going, what are we watching? What are we listening to?
Right.
Well, this is the Technorama podcast where we cover all kinds of nerdy news and not the stuff you generally hear on other podcasts. We're not going to be talking about Apple, Google, Microsoft, that kind of thing. Although
Mhm.
they may have an interesting side story once in a while that ends up
Yeah.
on the cutting room floor. And sometimes we even beat the mainstream media to who knows what they find.
I
Hitchcock.
know. Well, we've had almost 18 years to talk about stuff.
And one thing we do every show
Postulate.
is our feedback section. Comments about previous shows. We have a question of the week that we will post to you on social media and at the end of the show. So let us play that wonderful music.
Letters. Oh, we get letters.
We do.
Get your letters every day.
Today's
will
show brought to
soon.
you.
Mail today. Read
Hey, go.
them and pull one out.
Today's show brought to you by the letter B.
I love those letters.
No, P. There's a P on the bottom of my glass right there.
Oh, boy.
Maybe you shouldn't be drinking that.
It's clear. It's okay.
It's clear. Okay. Hey, John Miller Jr. is joining us in the chat room.
Excellent.
room.
Yes, this thing is on.
Yes.
Gone are the days when we go, hey, we're not broadcasting any audio.
Yeah.
Hopefully. If Craig and I can hear each other, then you can hear us.
Huh?
Quick reminder that November, as of when did we decide this was going to be a thing? 2018, 2019?
It doesn't matter. It happens every year.
It
in
happens
November.
every year. It's
Yeah.
International Voicemail Month for Technorama. So put that banner up on the bottom of the screen, if you would, kind sir. 707-530-2428 is how you can reach us. It's Technorama International. So put a +1 in front of that if you're calling internationally.
Yeah.
Or if you want, you can even text to that number. Or if you want, you can send a voice clip to technorama@chuckchat.com. Lots of ways to get in touch with us. And we will have plenty of that information in the show notes.
Yeah.
too.
It's funny when I mentioned earlier about podcast 411. I even listened to the whole show, even the comments that people called in with,
Yeah.
and he was mentioning about the different ways you can send in feedback, and people were emailing audio clips, but he mentioned
K7.
I don't think he mentioned K7 specifically. He may have had a number, but he had a couple of ways, and I just thought it was funny. It's like now it's like, oh, just call us or text us. It doesn't matter.
Oh, and it's going to get even easier in the future too, because the whole podcast 2.0 thing, you'll be able to be playing your podcast and go, there's a button here that says leave them voicemail.
And that's what I've been playing with the podcast addict. Actually, I like it a lot. So
We're getting there.
Yeah.
We're getting there. All right. Our question of the week last week was, what is a movie that bombed at the box office, but was actually quite good? And we have a voicemail from Crazy Joe.
Oh,
Hey, it's Crazy Joe. I got a couple movies for you that bombed at the box office that are actually either very good, or in one case, just okay. First of all, let me back Craig up on Speed Racer. Speed Racer is a fantastic movie, visually stunning. It looks great. It captures the feel of the old cartoon perfectly. It's one of the few really good movies that the Wachowskis ever did. The Wachowskis obviously made their name on the original Matrix, which is a classic. But let's not forget those Matrix sequels are terrible. All of them.
Whoa.
And Jupiter Rising, and they've just been a complete garbage factory for years after Matrix. But the one exception is Speed Racer. Speed Racer is probably the one really good movie they made post Matrix. So I back Craig up on that. The one that comes to mind for me is Tron. Back in the 80s, Tron was considered to be a real box office disappointment.
I didn't think about that.
To this day, it holds a cult following. They eventually made a sequel, an animated series. So Tron is now a well-regarded film. But back in 1982, it was considered something of a disappointment. And let me give you one modern day, Morbius. Morbius this past year has been very unfairly maligned. It did not do well at the box office, and people have acted like it's the worst thing ever. And I think that's really a sign of how spoiled we've gotten with good superhero movies. I think we've gotten so many good superhero movies over the last several years that something as, frankly, average as Morbius is being touted as being like the worst thing ever, when really, in fact, it's not great by any means, but it's also not that bad. Its greatest sin is that it's fairly average, and I think that just is a testament to how good most of the superhero movies today are. That we're looking at this movie that is fairly mid-level and saying, "Oh, this is the worst thing I've ever seen." So those are just a few. I can name more. The Losers with Chris Evans. That was a really good movie that nobody went to see at the box office. There you go. The A-Team movie with Liam Neeson. Okay, I could go on, but there you go. There's a few for you.
You could start a podcast about.
Pajamas.
You start a podcast about watching movies.
I know, right? Yeah.
For those,
actually, I agree with him. About Morbius. It wasn't like a great movie by any stretch, but it wasn't terrible. And and I was like, I don't quite get all the super hate for it. When I finally saw it, like streaming, and I was like, oh, that wasn't quite as bad as I thought. As I thought it was going to be. But
where was this streaming?
Was it HBO Max? Mobius? I'll tell you real quick.
Okay, you do that while we go into the rest of our answers. All right, our question of the week did get out on Facebook, and if you're following the Technorama podcast, you'll see it there. Or if you're following Craig or me, you will also get it because we share that thing. Stephen Weshy says both Idiocracy and Office Space come to mind. I've watched them at home countless times, and they have a huge following. I'm not sure why they didn't do better at the box office, though.
Oh, I do know why Idiocracy didn't. Because I love that movie, and the reason is
you've said dozens of times.
What's that? Yeah, I've seen it a dozen times. Actually, the reason why it didn't do so well is because Fox didn't play it in a lot of theaters because of the backlash from a lot of the corporate entities that they lambasted in the movie. Starbucks, Kentucky Fried Chicken, blah 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 blah. They a lot of them had an adult theme to them in the future. And so they lessened how many theaters. I think they put it in enough theaters to be contractually clear with the filmmakers. So that's why it didn't do so well. Office Space obviously is a classic. I think you would agree with that.
Yeah, I've got it on DVD. In fact, Julie and Will were here this past week, and we introduced them to it. They'd heard some of the phrases, but they'd never seen the movie, so we sat down and watched that.
Yeah.
Julie started watching the first part where, Peter's having his soul-sucking job, and he's like, "It's too real, Dad. It's too real."
It's too real.
And I
Yeah.
realized something. That movie's going to quickly be dated because not everybody has to report to a cubicle farm every day and have
Yeah.
their soul ripped out of their chest. It's like, that's
Maybe.
going to be interesting to watch that age in the future.
Right. Yeah, the good thing about it was the way it spoofed, yeah, office areas, office spaces, so.
PC load letter. And then I played them the Technorama clip that we had done as a parody.
Oh. Yeah, classic. That was with Adam Curry, the
Yeah,
godfather
Adam
of
Curry,
podcasting.
Lance Heath was in there.
Mhm.
Donna was part of that twice. She was
That's right.
like this, corporate Cosmita speaking, just a moment. And then she also came back and said, sounds like someone's got a case of the Mondays.
That's so funny.
Julie
Yeah, we
laughed.
had a good time with that. Actually, it was
Yeah.
funny. For those of you who don't know Adam Curry, he like I said, he had a hand in creating podcasting as a whole.
Co-invented, kind of, yeah.
Yeah, and what was funny was we asked him to do that part of the manager,
Oh, and he
and
got so into it. He did a
well,
really good
well,
job.
remember, he said he hadn't even seen the movie. He watched it because we asked him to do this part, and he did. Do you remember that?
I don't remember watching
He said
it
he hadn't
because of
seen the movie before. He knew what we were talking about, so he watched the movie so he could do it.
I'm gonna need you to come in and do a podcast on Saturday.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
That's right.
All
That
right,
was
let's get on
fantastic.
with this. We got a lot of stuff in this show because
Right.
there's we might even have to cut our hand me the remote section short.
That's all right. Well, I'll be quick through some
Okay.
of mine.
Craig Glasser says that's easy. One of the greatest movies ever made, Blade Runner. Good answer.
Yeah. Thomas Reed said Waltz Across Texas, which I'm
And
not familiar with that. It's Ernest Tubb. Okay.
there's a song called Waltz Across Texas.
Is it a movie? No, that's not. That's a movie. Let's see.
Don't know.
Waltz Across Texas.
Tom
It's,
Collender says John Carter. And J.R. Murdoch replies, Battleship wasn't awful either.
Oh, by the way, it's a movie. It's a cosmopolitan East Coast geologist and archer drills for oil and finds love in Texas. Wildcatter.
Love
Okay.
it. Okay.
John Carter, I enjoyed that. I was surprised that didn't do well. Have you seen it?
I have not. That was John Carter on Mars.
Yes, that's what it is. That's what it's
Okay.
based on. I actually read the book in preparation because the movie was coming out. And I enjoyed the book, and the movie didn't do so well. But I don't understand why.
This is why we're not movie critics, people.
No, well, you go watch it. It's on Disney Plus. I don't know if you have Disney Plus. It's actually really good.
Okay. Jack Mangan says Big Trouble in Little China.
Mm-hmm.
And we get to Steve London, who writes us a long reply
An
almost
essay.
every time, which we really appreciate. He says, to select a few, The Postman, Hudson Hawk, Bruce Willis. Do I need to say more? Treasure Planet. It's a fantastic movie. I don't get why it didn't work. 47 Ronin. I thought 47 Ronin was all right. Of course, we're just asking, not what you think is all right. It's what didn't do well at the box office that actually
Right.
landed pretty well later. Apparently, I have a knack of picking out movies that bombed, as when I Google the list of them, I see a bunch of movies that list I actually like. And then again, movies that sucked as well. Robin Hood 2018 is one of them. That is one of two movies that I have left the theater for. Ouch. I was furious. I actually got my money back for that ticket. And I usually commit, even if the movie is bad. But this one was extreme. Yeesh.
Wow. Ouch. Okay. Well, you had some comments, and so did I.
Yeah, go ahead and read some of yours.
So Wade Thompson says he enjoyed John Carter. Also, same here.
Mhm.
Disney screwed up the hype. That's what happened. Was they didn't do the promotion for it properly. Sure, it was over the top, but the book had so much. The movie had too much to cover. Which, yes,
Gotcha.
that is true. But I
That
think they did a
happens.
good job of what they did.
In a world, in another world that isn't this world. It's another world that's in outer space next to our world.
Yeah. Brian Parker said Terry Gilliam's The Adventures of Baron Munchausen.
Munchausen.
Yes, excuse me. And Chad Henderson said Shawshank Redemption. I guess that didn't do very well in the theater. I'm not sure, but it
Yeah.
sure did get a following.
That's a classic.
Yeah.
Sean Brockman said Stargate. I concur with that. It was actually pretty bad in the theaters, but we wouldn't have the whole Stargate universe without that.
Yeah.
Eric Miller said Event Horizon, and Richard Green also said Speed Racer,
Yes. Good man.
to which Craig gave a thumbs up.
That's right.
No surprise there. I didn't even have to look who the thumbs up
It's
was.
it's either me. Let's see who else. Sorry, my mind went blank.
That's all right. Susan said, I thought I heard It's a Wonderful Life.
Excuse me.
You want to get a mute button for that, buddy? You all right?
Yes, I am still recovering from that cold.
All right. Find your
Christiana Ellis is who I was talking about.
mute. Okay.
Her and myself and Richard Green. There's a couple other people. I guess I'm getting a posse together for the Speed Racer.
You're gonna get a Speed Racer 2?
So anytime there's any, hey, I hated Speed Racer, we'll jump on them, or there's a question about it. So
As I was saying before you so rudely coughed in my ear,
I'm sorry. I was trying to hit the
Susan's
mute, but I couldn't get it fast.
I thought I heard It's a Wonderful Life bombed originally.
Did it?
That's interesting. I hadn't heard that, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Let's see, bomb. I wonder if it did because
Okay.
It's a Wonderful Life bombed on release 75 years ago today. All right, years ago before coming classic. I'm sorry, that's what I meant to say.
Interesting. All right, we're gonna wrap up that and get into the history and birthdays. We got a lot of them there too.
Another letter from a listener.
And in case you missed it, you can always get in touch with us at 1-707-530-2428. Technorama's International Voicemail Month.
Yeah.
In November.
Participate.
Technorama@chuckchat.com. We'd love to hear from you. Send us your feedback or watch for our question of the week next week and be part of that. All right, history time. On this day in history for November 2nd, 2022. This is the 306th day of the year in the Gregorian calendar. There are 59 days remaining in 2002. It was on this date in 1868 that New Zealand officially adopted a standard time to be observed nationally.
It was on November 2nd, 1920 in the United States. KDKA of Pittsburgh started broadcasting its first commercial radio station. The first broadcast is a result of the 1920 United States presidential election.
Here comes another vote. It's in the box. Yes, we have another ballot.
We've confirmed yet another vote.
86 years ago today, the British Broadcasting Corporation initiated the BBC television service, the world's first regular, get this, high definition service. Back then, high definition was defined by at least 200 lines.
And then the next day, 201 lines.
It was renamed BBC One in 1964, and the channel still runs to this day.
I'm sure they
Hopefully
got more lines.
Upgraded from 200 lines.
Yeah, 300. It was also on this date in 1947 that in California, designer Howard Hughes performed the maiden and only flight of the Hughes H-4 Hercules, also known as the Spruce Goose, the largest fixed-wing aircraft ever built. Yeah.
That same date in 1959, the first section of the M1 motorway, the first interurban motorway in the United Kingdom, was opened between the present junctions of 5 and 18 along the M10 motorway and M45 motorway.
Is that your British accent?
Yes.
Or just a
Yes,
proper British accent? Where was I at? Oh, yeah, I was looking at you. Also on November 2nd, 1960, Penguin Books was found not guilty of obscenity. Wow. In the trial of R versus Penguin Books Limited and the Lady Chatterley's lover case.
Scandalous Lady Chatterley's lover.
Oh my God.
It's pornography.
Yeah.
On November 2nd, 1988, the Morris worm, not related to T. Morris. It was the first.
I did read T. Morris there because she had T issue.
The first internet distributed computer worm to gain significant mainstream media attention. It was launched from MIT.
Yeah. Zero Cool was unavailable for comment. Remember?
Your turn.
Hackers. Anyway, Expedition 1 arrived at the International Space Station for the first long duration stay on board. From this day to present, a continuous human presence is on the space station remains uninterrupted on this date in 2000.
There we go for 22 years. Woohoo!
Yay.
Happy birthday goes out on this day to American hunter and explorer Daniel Boone, Mr. Raccoon Skin Hat, if he really actually wore one. He was born on this date in 1734.
Austrian French queen consort of the Louis, was that 16 of France? I could do it. Marie Antoinette was born 267 years ago today.
If it weren't for her, we wouldn't have cake. Something like that.
Pie. No, it's cake. Pie.
Born November 2nd, 1815, English mathematician and philosopher George Boole. Is that true or false?
Boolean.
Yes. No, that's where we get Boolean
Okay.
algebra from. It's
Okay.
George Boole. There's a joke in there for the nerds. Craig missed it. That's okay.
Yeah. American inventor John J. Loud. Loud.
How
Born on-
loud is it?
It's this loud. Was born on this date in 1844. Of course, all that should get compressed when I do the audio stuff later.
Harlow Shapley, the American astronomer and academic, was born 137 years ago today.
And born November 2nd, 1894, German-American aerodynamist. I think that's the first on our show. Dynamicist and engineer Alexander Lipschitz.
Lippish.
Yeah,
Oh,
Lipschitz.
careful, Lipschitz. That was the doctor on Rugrats. Raphael M. Robinson, the American mathematician, philosopher, and theorist, was born 111 years ago today.
Ray Walston Gardner at Starfleet, an American actor, was born on this date, same date in 1914.
Good for you.
Yeah.
American engineer and businessman, founded Bose Corporation. Amar Bose was born on this date in 1929.
And wasn't Ray Walston actually also Popeye's dad? I think
He
so.
was on the Partridge Family or something too.
He is on a lot of stuff.
Keep going.
He had a great personality. Canadian physicist and academic, Nobel Prize laureate Richard E. Taylor was born 93 years ago today.
Listener birthdays this week include November 2nd, Mark McCoy. November 3rd, two birthdays, Ken Pace and Ranger Craig Glasner, whom we mentioned earlier. Avner from OMG, it's 2014. I'm 40 already. I love these extra comments that really put a timestamp on it. Is born November 4th. On the 5th is Michael Corlett from New Zealand. The 8th, we have three birthdays. John Clifford, Mark the Encaffeinated One, host of The Weird Show, among other things. And On the Drift was born November 8th. Is this the end? Yes, it is. That's the way it was on this day in history for November 2nd, 2022. If you want to get your name on the birthday calendar, go to our website, put the link up there, Craig, chuckchat.com/birthday, and we'll call you out. If it's not your birthday, happy birthday anyway. What I meant to say was if it's your birthday this week and you're not on the calendar, I just said if it's not your birthday, happy birthday anyway.
Yeah.
Kind of throws everybody in the same
Well,
bucket.
you're going to have one at some point. Hey, by the way,
No.
Avner is now 48.
Yes, I can do the math, Craig. Thank you.
So
It's
thank
going to
you,
be
Avner.
wake up. It's
Hey, he needs
2024.
to update it where it'll be, oh my God, it's 2023. And
This
I'm
isn't an
54.
updatable thing like it used to be when we had a
No.
wiki. This
Actually,
is
I'm thinking about changing that.
oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll see.
now he's going to have editable capability.
Yeah. Why not?
Sure. Let's do some news.
Good news, everyone!
A gigantic 70-foot nuclear fusion gun. You know what? I have to confess, I did not have time this afternoon to read many of these stories, so I'm just going to do what
Neither
we
of
used
us did.
to. I am heavily involved with the early planning stages of our class reunion next summer. So
Oh, that's
I
right.
was working on that with one of my classmates going, okay, which of these 14 places that you've researched are we going to go to?
14.
She really did her homework on this stuff.
All right.
Anyway, what did I say? A 70-foot nuclear fusion gun could change the world. It sounds like it. On a quiet industrial estate in England, the silence is occasionally broken by the thump of a 72-foot long gun. At the end of the barrel, a star is born. Oh, call Barbara Streisand.
Yeah.
The big friendly gun, aka the BFG,
Yeah, that's what they called it in Doom, wasn't it?
Is a prototype for what the UK-based nuclear fusion company First Light Fusion hopes will be the future of energy production. The video above shows a test fire at the company's facility from a safe distance, probably in space, a safe distance, and separated from it by a thick wall of concrete. The team look on as data pours in from the gun's sensors. Each test fire takes the world a step closer to what will potentially be an effective, limitless source of clean power. This is it looks like something that was hard to turn on a lathe because it's really
Oh my
long.
gosh. Yeah, I don't think there's a lathe big enough, so you'd have to section it out. But
It
it
looks
looks
like all
interesting.
one shaft. Was it extruded? How do you make this thing?
In sections. You can see there's sections.
Are there
1, 2.
sections?
It looks like there's yeah, looks like there's 1 section, 2 sections.
This is
There's
a
like 3.
complex thing. This
Yeah,
is
people have made bigger things.
are they blowing holes in this thing? The BFG is only one step toward this final vision. Oh, First Light Fusion reactor design aims to sidestep by shielding the reactor walls with liquid, which absorbs the neutrons.
Mhm.
You can't stop a neutrino, and exposes the steel structure of the chamber to less neutron bombardment compared to a tokamak. What's a tokamak? Craig, you're giving me hurdy brain by reading articles about fission.
A tokamak is one of those things that the Indians used to make to wear on their feet.
No,
That's the
wasn't he the Grand Inquisitor on History of the World? Takamata?
Yeah, that was him.
Hey, Takamata.
Yeah, see, you're
what
getting
do you
it.
say?
Yeah,
Okay.
you're getting it.
Yeah, we don't play that game anymore. My kids hate that game. I love it.
Well, what's funny is at the bottom is interesting. It says the giant steel gun works by firing high velocity piston with 6.6 pounds of gunpowder, which, okay, speeding down the barrel, the piston compressing hydrogen gas as it moves enters the cone segment, which crushes the gas into a tiny point before it bursts through the metal seal. This shoots a projectile at 4.3 miles per second in a vacuum chamber where it strikes nuclear fission fuel target, temporarily producing the conditions in which the nuclei can fuse together.
All
It's got
right.
to be pretty precision, I think.
Let's move on to something that we can actually pronounce. So
The sun.
yes, NASA snaps a portrait of the sun actually smiling. Let me show that to you.
Yeah, that is interesting.
Hi, kids.
Yeah.
It's me. I'm going to give you skin cancer. Watch out.
Yeah, that's right. Everybody stare at the sun and you'll see this face.
No.
No, don't stare at the
I'll
sun.
burn your retinas.
That is pretty cool.
We've seen similar things like that. Take that, man in the moon.
Yeah.
You gotta be high to see that picture. Not me.
Well, our local star is taking the sun smiling down upon us phrase literally, it seems. NASA's Solar Dynamics Observatory snapped a portrait of the sun on Wednesday that makes it look like it has two dark eyes and a swirling round nose and a happy smile.
That's the ultimate in pareidolia.
Yeah, there's a scientific explanation for this. Today, NASA Solar Dynamic caught the sun smiling. Seen in ultraviolet light, these dark patches of the sun are known as coronal holes and are regions where fast solar wind gushes out into space.
It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day.
That's right. That's a pretty cool picture.
Sun is smiling in the sky. There ain't a cloud. This could go on all night, kids. I'm going to stop there. All right.
Yes.
What's this next one? Redditor acquires decommissioned Netflix cache server with 262 terabytes of storage. Did it actually have Netflix stuff on it?
I imagine so. I don't know.
A Reddit user named Poison Waffle 3 recently acquired a 2013 era Netflix cache server that had been pulled from service and wiped for disposal, which marks a rare occasion where the public has been able to get a look at the mysterious hardware. Well, 9 years old. The decommissioned cache server, called an Open Connect appliance, operated as part of Netflix Open Connect content delivery network. Open Connect is a network of servers around the world embedded with local ISPs that contain local copies of Netflix video content, accelerating the delivery of that content to Netflix viewers by putting it as close to the viewers as possible, both geographically and from a perspective of network hops. Netflix provides plenty of high content documentation about the Open Connect on its website, but what isn't widely known is what specific components make up the Open Connect servers, especially the one that is almost a decade old. After removing 3 screws, Poison Waffle took a look inside. I love that handle, by the way. Sorry, it's Poison Waffle 3. I don't want to confuse that with Poison Waffle or Poison Waffle.
There's 2 other ones.
Yeah, those first 2 albums really didn't take off, but Poison Waffle 3, we're doing great. It took a look inside the unit to discover its pretty standard Supermicro motherboard, an Intel Xeon CPU, E5 2650L V2, 64 gig of DDR3 RAM, 7.2 terabyte Western Digital hard disks at 7200 RPM, 6 500 gigabyte Micron SSDs, a pair of 750 watt power supplies, and 1 quad port 10 gig Ethernet NIC. A total server contains 262 terabytes of raw storage, according to Poison Waffle 3. They acquired the bright red Netflix cache server because they work for an ISP that was pulling the devices out of service. We're retiring/replacing quite a few of the 2013 era Netflix Oka servers, caches, and I was offered one, they wrote. Of course, I couldn't say no.
Wow, who wouldn't?
My girlfriend didn't really care for it, though.
Yeah.
Looks like it's about a standard 4 or 5U rack-mounted unit. Not terribly exciting to look at from the outside, but wouldn't this cause a conflict if Netflix was using a red box? Oh, did you catch that?
Okay. Maybe we should move along after that one.
Did that hurt? I
Yes.
hope so.
Oh, it's hurting something.
All right, then we're gonna go into the hacks and strange stories.
Hey, by the way, relating to the sun, Mike Robinson says, "Fight global warming, nuke the sun." maybe they can point that gun, that fusion gun at the sun.
Okay, this one needs a little screen time too for our pleasant viewers who have shown up. Let's share screen 2 again. Okay.
Yeah, I thought this was interesting, to say the least.
Unlike cruising down the sidewalk on roller skates that come with a bit of learning curve, the moonwalkers are supposedly an easy-to-use moving sidewalk that whisk you down the long airport terminal. You just strap them to your feet and go for a stroll. How do you not fall on your face? While enjoying a considerable boost in speed. Maybe they're ratcheted? I don't.
No, they got computers in there that kind of control the speed, and they talk to one another.
Okay.
So they can control the speed, so you're not going too fast on one foot and not the other. Also, when
team of robotics engineers. Oh, okay. Carnegie Mellon.
So it looks like almost skates you would strap on your shoes, but however, like I said, they communicate with one another, and as you're walking, you get an extra boost of speed. So it's almost like you're gliding. It looks like he's almost like on a treadmill almost.
Which is easier than doing an exoskeleton.
Yeah. Also, when you go to, my question was, how do you go upstairs or downstairs? And there's a motion where you pick like your toe up and push down on your heel, and it locks them, and then you can walk up the stairs, up downstairs, and then you turn it back on, and they can start walking again.
They're not out yet. It's a Kickstarter thing.
Yeah, they're not out yet, and they're like around $1,000. I was like, I don't know if I need to walk faster for $1,000.
Henry Cavill is going to be replaced as the Witcher.
Yes. Oh, what are you looking at?
The article on the sidebar. Yeah.
Yeah, he's actually being replaced by Liam Hemsworth, Thor's brother.
Really?
Not in season 3. Season 3's already done, but I don't think it's out yet. Season 4 will have Liam in it.
So we get to hear him do his whisper talking one more time.
That's right.
He talks really soft, but the microphone picks it up really well.
Yeah, and the reason is Henry's moving back into his old apartment of Superman.
Legends of Tomorrow?
Superman. Legends of Tomorrow. No.
All right.
Right. Would you pay
yes.
$1,000 to walk faster?
No.
Actually, you know what? All right. When we went, we go to our user conference for work
Yes.
once a year, or we have been in historically. And one of the places we went to was the Orlando Convention Center.
Yes.
I had to walk from one end to the other. I had to go back to my hotel room and
That
come back.
building is like a mile long.
It is
at least a
ridiculously
kilometer.
long and
Yeah.
huge. I'm walking across where they're setting up the stages and stuff.
Yep.
And I'm walking. And it's one of those places that's so big, it feels like the parallax doesn't move very much. And it
And they
feels
don't, they don't have any moving sidewalks to like help you along.
right. So when I saw this, I went, oh, if we were going there again, I would totally pay that much money to get
I'd bring my roller skates
yeah, or skateboard.
or a
Yeah.
Segway.
Yeah, that's a crazy place right there.
All right. The CIA wants to bring woolly mammoths back from extinction.
Of course.
Because why not? I wouldn't be opposed to this. The CIA is funding research into resurrecting extinct animals, including the woolly mammoth and tiger-like thylacine, aka the Tasmanian tiger, according to news reports. Via a venture capital investment firm called InQtel, that's IN-Q-TEL, which sounds more like a telecom provider,
I know, right?
which the CIA funds, the American Intelligence Agency has pledged money to the Texas-based tech company Colossal Biosciences. According to Colossal's website, the company's goal is to, quote, see the woolly mammoth thunder upon the tundra once again.
Once again.
Through the use of genetic engineering, that is, using technology to edit an organism's DNA. Colossal has always stated an interest in resurrecting the extinct thylacine, or Tasmanian tiger, a wolf-like marsupial that went extinct in the 1930s, as well as the extinct dodo bird, aka Dodarsis. See, I do remember a few science things.
Yeah.
For their part, the CIA is less interested in thundering mammoths and roaring thylacines than it is the underlying genetic engineering technology that Colossal intends to develop, according to InQtel blog post. Quote, strategically, it's less about the mammoths and more about the capability, InQtel senior officials wrote. So, yeah, that's pretty cool. I'm not surprised, that this hasn't come sooner. Actually, I am surprised this hasn't come sooner.
From the CIA?
Well, not necessarily from the CIA, but just in general.
Right.
Somebody had to fund it, right? They go, hey, I want to bring back some of these extinct species. And if you did it traditionally with crossbreeding, like taking some DNA from a woolly mammoth that you find in frozen Siberia, you say, hey, there's some, marrow in this bone or tooth or whatever.
Yeah.
And you started crossing the DNA. But now that, CRISPR technology has become more common, splice it in, be done with it. You don't have to wait for generations upon generations to get closer and closer to the hybrid model you want.
Well, they have found some fairly intact woolly mammoths that they can take some samples from in recent
Like
years.
Robinson says, can you imagine what would happen if they, quote, accidentally mix some of the raptor DNA in with the mammoth?
I think that's the sequel to Jurassic Park, wasn't it?
Jurassic Park mammoth.
Oh, she's
Amy
talking about
said
the-
she had to walk the whole distance to the Orange County Convention Center. The first time I was there, long way.
Oh man, yeah.
2017, that's when we were there too. Different conference, but same
Yeah.
thing.
She was there. She
Right.
must have been there right after we were.
Shout out to the chat room. We have John Miller Jr., Mike Robinson, as we mentioned, and Amy Bowen that are hanging out and making comments with us. If you want to join us on Sunday nights, 9:30 Eastern time, that's when you can do it. In fact, most of you are changing your clocks next week. So it'll still be 9:30 Eastern time, and I get to start at 7:30 Arizona time instead of 6:30.
Is that good?
Ooh. It's different.
It's different.
But I understand more and more states are going to stop monkeying with their clocks eventually.
Well, they were trying. I don't know what the state was of South Carolina was going to do, but they said they were going to. It was close. I don't know if they were going to do it or not. Who knows?
Sign up for our Facebook page, get those notifications so you know when we're live. Or
I'm sure it's
follow
high on their
us.
priority list at the moment.
Well, yeah, that and inflation. It's like maybe we could save some money on inflation by stop wasting people's time messing with their clocks.
Yeah.
There's something in there for you. All right, should we do the patron thing?
Yeah.
All right. There we go. Happy birthday to our patrons. No, I'm messing up the segments now. Thank you to our patrons. They went over to patreon.com/Technorama podcast, and for as little as $1 a show, they support this show entirely financially. It's the hosting, it's the software upgrades, it's the repairs to the hardware, it's like new headphones every 10 years. There's stuff that happens when you podcast for a long, long time like we have. Things wear out, things get upgraded, and thank you to everybody who supported us. Alexis Duran, Amber Elstad, Amy Bowen, who we just mentioned in the chat, Abner Braverman, whose birthday is coming up, Ben Vaughn, Brian Brown, Chris Martinez, Chris MC. Thank you, Dan D-Man Coyer. Thank you, Dean Jensen and Denise Inglis. Gary Lindros, thank you very much. John Clifford, John Noble, thank you, Yorga Schrauen, one of our early adopters. Crazy Joe Adventures. Hey, his middle name is Joe? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
A lot of people go by their middle name, I guess.
Yeah.
Hey, who named their kid Crazy anyway?
I know. He did. His parents.
Then again, I ask the mothers of all these rappers.
Have you met Joe? Have you met Joe?
Kyle Nishioka, thank you very much. I think he was patron number 1. We're going to have to order these in order of patron number. Leon, Mark Kilfoyle, Matt Baum, Mike Wills. Thank you, Paul Mackey. Saturday Morning Media. His mother named him Saturday, which I guess is no different than Gomez and the Addams family naming their kid Wednesday.
Yeah.
Or Robinson Crusoe on Friday. But anyway, Stephen Weshy, Steve Therian, Steve Cody, Sweet Steve London, and Tim Cook. Thank you very much for all your donations. And
Thank you.
we have good news, everyone.
Oh, do we?
Yes. You see this shirt I'm wearing?
Yes.
You're not getting one of these. You're getting one better. This is our 22 Technorama Patreon shirt for our $5 members. Check this out. I invested in Technorama better than Bitcoin. Right?
That's
you know
right.
What's funny, Craig? Like the day these came in, or the day after, I was going through. You're probably like me and you're getting a bazillion political things mailed to you right now.
Yeah.
Right? It's like 99% of my mail right now.
Mm-hmm.
One of those pieces had that exact same color scheme on it. It was on a black background with white text, and some of it was tan. I went, wow, that's bizarre.
Yeah.
So good color scheme there, Mr. Designer. Craig designed them. I ordered them, and we will be shipping these wonderful black t-shirts out to our $5 members this week. So you should see them shortly.
There you go. Look at there.
Might take a couple extra days for sweet Steve over there, but thank you. Thank you so much to everybody who's done that. All right. I said we were going to try and get through the show quickly, and we are not even close to the, we're up to the,
that's all right. You weren't around, and we recorded the
hour and a half. I saw it come in.
I was like, whoa, uh-oh.
Yeah, I saw it.
Hey, it's podcasting. You really?
I wasn't there to crack the whip on you guys.
Crack the whip.
As in a horse. Move. Yeah. Okay. We have Hand Me the Remote. Now, we had a week off, so we had time to watch a few things. We're going to see if we can get through these as quickly as possible.
Well, some of these people already know, but
go ahead and
talk about. So I did go see Black Adam today in the theater.
I've heard it was pretty good.
It was good. Don't listen to the critics. It's a lot of fun. The whole there's a lot of action, the whole movie. It's not like, I don't know. It was really good. I super enjoyed it. The critics, I don't think, got it 100% right, and it was fantastic. Pierce Brosnan was pretty good. Aldous Hodge, who was in Leverage. I don't know if you remember him. And of course, Dwayne Johnson was in there. Special effects were great. I enjoyed it a lot. So I'm not going to go too deep in it because it's brand new. But Black Adam, he's like not Egyptian, but they have Kahndaq was the area he was in. He was a slave, and his son was killed. He ended up with power, so on and so forth. And later on, he comes back, and that's where in modern day, and that's where the story picks up. I thought it was great. It's actually tangentially related to Shazam.
Is this a
Sort of.
Marvel thing?
No, it's DC.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right. Maybe they're pulling their act back together.
Oh, I think they are. I think they are.
Okay. I just got done watching the 10 episodes of The Lincoln Lawyer.
Hmm?
Donna and I rolled the dice on this one. Actually,
Oh, not the movie, but there's a series based on the same.
Yes.
on
Yes. It actually, yep. So it's a wonderful writing, totally unpredictable, which I love. Okay. There was one part where I called the line before. This happens every once in a while.
Right.
Yeah, the guy comes out of the store and I went 3, 2, 1. And then the actor on the screen goes 3, 2, 1.
That's
Yeah.
funny.
She says, "You should write these." I said, "No, I wouldn't be able to write them from scratch, but I can help a writer get unstuck."
Right.
Yeah, great show. It's about a lawyer who inherits a practice. He had an accident. He had a bad case go south on him, so he's been out for a year. And then one of his friends gets killed and leaves his practice and open cases to this guy, and he's got to like solve them because he wants back on the horse. He wants to say, "Look, I'm back. I'm functional." And he's a defending lawyer. So it's really, really good. Just the amount of turns and twists that you get right up to the end. So I highly recommend The Lincoln Lawyer on Netflix.
Okay.
What's next for you?
It was really a rewatch. Everybody's seen Gremlins by now,
Mhm.
but we were Kim and I were watching some Halloween stuff, and they had this grouped in with all the Halloween movies on. I think it's HBO Max, and it's funny to rewatch that because half the movie is really seeing the Gremlin puppets do stupid things at the end. When they all have different personalities, like they got hats and they got clothes. I'm like, where'd they get all these clothes from? Yeah. So I can't say that it does. I wouldn't say that it doesn't hold up well. It's just based against modern movies, probably not. But I've seen it so many times that I think of it in context, so I don't really think much of it. But it was kind of fun to watch again.
Well, speaking of rewatches, I introduced Julie and Will, my oldest daughter and her husband, to
Mhm.
Office Space.
I'm so surprised they have not seen that before.
They've heard a number of the phrases, but now that
Mhm.
they're in their professional careers, I thought it was time. And the beginning of the movie where Peter is having his soul sucked out by going to this cubicle job, Julie says, "It's too real, Dad. It's too real."
Right. That's funny.
They loved it. We've got that one on DVD. It is available for rent on a number of places.
Yeah, actually, I think I actually purchased it on streaming, even though
thought
I
I
have it
did
on
too,
disc
though.
over in the
Yeah.
corner there. I just want because every once in a while I'll think about watching it, and I don't want to have to go. Where's a DVD player? I just go stream it.
Keep going.
So the next movie was Beetlejuice, which that's a classic, I think, and it's hard to beat that. I think it. I'm not even gonna say it holds up because it's a classic. I mean, how can you beat it?
Is that a Halloween holiday tradition with you?
No, I'm just trying to watch. I was just trying to watch more Halloween centric music movies, and it was just on the list and HBO Max. I'm like, "Ah, let's watch that." So we watched it. So, of course, Michael Keaton is a classic.
Next one for me is called Home Game, also on Netflix. It's a series of 6, I believe.
Mhm.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever it is. And they go around the world looking at these sometimes what we would consider fairly unusual sports. There's one in Florence, Italy, where it's kind of like rugby and kickboxing
Wait a
put
minute.
together.
So I've got this theme. This is not the first show that you've talked about watching these odd.
Yeah. This one
fringe
probably came
games.
up as a recommendation from the other one. It also has a roller derby. I mean, they jump in like right before the championships of some of these things. It's really interesting. So Home Game talks about some sports are like, this is a sport. They do something you probably heard of, free diving. In the Philippines, there's people that their spleens have actually gotten like 50% bigger than normal human beings, which lets them hold their breath longer underwater, because that's sort of how they get their living, is just taking a free dive and go collect lobsters or shells or whatever.
Right.
So I enjoyed it. It was just a nice cultural eye-opening too. Wow. They did in Scotland, they had the decathlon or something of hammer throw and caber toss, and just like, wow. And they go through the rules. It's like, caber toss isn't just about chucking a log up in the air.
Right.
You got to get it to flip over. And that's not as easy as it sounds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I don't know if
There's
I'd
some
want to do
fun
that.
stuff in there. Okay, next one for you.
So Kim and I, my wife and I, have been watching Quantum Leap, the new
The
version.
original Scott Bakula version?
No, this is the new version. It's on NBC, but it's also on the Peacock on Peacock the next day, and I've really enjoyed this so far. There's a little more aspects to it than the last one. The original Scott Bakula version, there was him and Al, and you got some insight on the back end in the present time in their show. But this one, there's a lot more going on. It has Ernie Hudson and is playing like a guy that's in charge of the agency that's over Quantum Leap, the project. And they do reference Sam Beckett and some things from the original Quantum Leap. So so far, it has that feeling like the old Quantum Leap. It's great. I think it's a fantastic show so far. I think we're like, was it 4 or 5 episodes in, and we're really enjoying it. So I would say check that out if you haven't.
Cool. You got one more on.
I do, and I just finished it tonight, and it kind of relates to what we were talking about. We're going to in just a moment. But I watched the Tales of the Jedi, which is a little anthology series on Netflix. I'm sorry, Disney Plus, and it's about there's like 6 episodes, and they kind of give some backstory on some things inside the Star Wars universe. Sorry, I'm trying to save you from my cough.
Nope, that's all right.
They give you some backstory a little bit in the Star Wars universe, but it's mainly around Ahsoka and around Count Dooku. And I thought it was pretty well done. I saw some people go, "Oh, that's not canon." I'm like, I'm not playing that game. So I enjoyed it, and I think it was good.
Tales of the Jedi on Disney Plus. Okay.
Like for example, they showed Count Dooku, excuse me. He was covering up the planet Kamino, which later on Obi-Wan's trying to find out about, and the records have been deleted. Well, you kind of see why. That's a little bit of it. Those kind of things. And you see Yaddle. Remember,
Who did the voice of Dooku now that Christopher Lee?
I don't know who did he actually sounded a little bit like Snape.
No, he's gone too.
I know he's gone. I said the way they did the voice. Count Dooku was Corey Burton. I mean, he did a good job. And Liam Neeson's in there. Anyway, go check it out. I'm gonna start spoiling it if I start throwing a bunch of names out.
We did watch the first of the Hobbit movies too. Well, over the last few nights.
Yeah.
It was funny, like, oh, Saruman is important back then. Like, you don't know.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah.
Clearly, your love of the Halfling's leaf has clouded your mind.
You've seen the Hobbit movies, right?
Yes.
Okay.
They're available on Amazon. I think it's Amazon.
Probably because that's
and
where
Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, that's where the rest of the Power of the Ring or the.
Oh yeah, they've got like the whole collection of Tolkien stuff now. Okay. You're right. All right, Media Corner real quick. And we'll wrap this up.
Welcome to Blockhead Video. Hey, where can I find some good information about music and TV and videos and things? Over here, in the Media Corner.
You look scared.
So, what do you have that's new on Disney Plus for us, Craig?
What do I have? What's new on Disney
That's
Plus?
what it says in here. Chuck and Craig discuss what's new on Disney Plus.
Did you put that in there?
No. Oh, wait. No, it wasn't Disney Plus. I put that in there for not. I don't think it was supposed to be Disney Plus because I don't have Disney Plus.
Well, what'd you put in there for?
I was going to talk about something and now I can't remember. I don't know. I'm going to have to revisit that one. That might be for next time because we're running a little long
Hey.
anyway. I'm going to look at that again.
Gotta
That
tell you,
is- that is
well-oiled
Chuck-
machine right here, babe.
That's Chuck earlier today with an idea that later Chuck has no idea about. I'm sure everybody's written down notes like that. It's clear what it says. Chuck and Craig discuss what's new on Disney Plus, but I don't have Disney Plus, so this doesn't make any sense. That's what's throwing me off.
No, I don't think it's what's new with Disney Plus. I think we were going to talk about our text messages this morning.
Oh, that's right. Yes, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for the reminder. Yes, let me get my screen share. This is a visual, and I will. Okay, so as a background, that's what it was. I would have
Yeah.
totally missed this because I prepared for this. I would have been mad if I had missed this. Share screen. Uh-oh, where'd it go? Not share screen. I want share screen window. That's it. Okay, so for those of you watching along at home, you have to realize when I got my new phone in June, I couldn't think up a good name for the phone or the
Yeah.
earbuds. You know, normally when you have a Bluetooth device, it's like, do you want to connect with Samsung GL0406? You know, it's got the last 4 digits in hex of the Bluetooth MAC address. I'm like, what?
Right.
No, I need better device names. So
Right.
I renamed my phone $, left curly brace, phone, right curly brace.
Like
So
a
it looks
variable.
like a variable substitution didn't happen on my phone. And my earbuds are, of course, $, curly brace earbuds. And I have a second set called $, curly brace, other earbuds,
Yeah, right.
and so on. You know, I've got $, watch, $, curly brace watch on my wrist. Craig thought that was funny. Well,
Yeah.
let me show you on the screen. He sends me this message this morning that says, "Boop. You will like this. This showed up on my Google feed." Now, recommended for his Google feed was watch $, curly brace series _name curly brace on Disney Plus.
Right.
To which I responded, "Boop. Can I watch it on my $, curly brace phone?" And he said, "You sure can, $, curly brace _user."
Current _ user. Yeah.
And then I said, $,
Smile
curly
emoji.
brace smile emoji.
Right. You know what I found? I found out what it was actually referring to.
What was it referring to?
So it was the Tales of the Jedi. Because what was happening was I was like, I've got to click on this because I want to know what
Yeah.
they think it's supposed to be. So I clicked on it, and it started playing the last episode of the Tales of the Jedi. So this evening, I stopped it. I was like, oh
How
no,
did
I
it
don't
get
want to
out
see
of
that yet.
sync?
I said, I don't want to see that yet. So this evening, I sat down and I said, okay, I'm gonna watch the last 3 episodes. I hit play, and I was like, why does this feel like the last episode? Because it was. I still had 2 new ones above it. It's just that placeholder jumped to the last episode.
Oh, okay.
So yeah.
All right. We're at an hour, and I'm going to just recommend that people go to our episode 691 show notes over at chuckchat.com/technorama and take a look. We've got 2 stories that we didn't have time to get to. Human-powered car can go up to 30 miles per hour, and it doesn't need fuel. Well, your legs might need fuel.
It's kind of neat though. It's the guy kind of works it like a row machine.
Oh, okay.
So go look at the little video.
And it looks like plastic, feels like plastic, but it isn't plastic.
Yeah, this guy invented a plastic substitute using the plant juke, which grows in his country, and he showed the plastic bags. They look like any.
That'd be awesome.
It looks like any plastic bag you get in the grocery store. You
Are
know,
they biodegradable?
absolutely, they're plant based. The whole thing's
Okay.
plant based.
So if you spill a liquid inside them, does everything fall out? But like a paper bag?
I don't think it's that bad. No, but you go watch the video. You'll see. It's
All
like,
right.
it's like a little. It's almost like a like a news article or something.
Which brings us to our question of the week. We're going to leave you with this thought to ponder for the next few days. What fictional character can be identified by one quote? Oh, I had one earlier. Whoa.
Yeah. Done. Yeah. No, wait a minute. That would identify the actor, not necessarily the
By one
character.
quote, not one word, one quote. Good news, everyone.
That's right.
Oh, this could go on. Craig, this should get us lots of comments. All
It's
right.
kind of the point, right?
I'm hoping that everybody
Yeah.
will chime in. Don't forget, it is International Technorama Voicemail Month. So get in touch with us, 707-530-2428. We'd love to hear from you.
Yes,
We're gonna
please.
play the music as we do the rest of them. Email us, technorama@chuckchat.com. We want to hear from you. We haven't heard from you in at least a year or more. Joe, it would be what? No, that was the 10-second.
Yeah, we're out.
Halfway
Was
through a
there one?
sentence. Yeah. One click.
Yeah.
Crazy Joe called us. It's been at least a day for him, so can always call more than once too. Love to hear from you. Again, 707-530-2428 or technorama@chuckchat.com. There's also all of our social media, internet stuff. Just Technorama Podcast. Search for that, and I'm sure you'll find us. Thank you for all the help, Craig.
No, thank you, Chuck.
It's been a wonderful week, and now we are going to record our Patreon show for our wonderful people who support our show. Right, left, center, up, down. Give us $1 and give us $5. We'll give you a t-shirt.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? The last postcards we had said thank you. I could put another postcard in here that says thank you too. So
You good?
give me a binary high five, Craig.
All right, 101. Thanks for listening. Participate. Call.
Dial direct and save.
That's right.
Call collect and they pay. Call collect, it's even cheaper. Collect calls. Wow, there's a thing of the past.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I was watching something and they go, "Hey, get down here. There's a long distance call."
They're racking up the charges.
That's right.
iHeartRadio has a program right now called the 13 Days of Halloween. And I think this is the third year they've run it. I found it because Jonathan runs an ad on tech stuff. And I went, this sounds good. It's wonderfully written. And one of the characters, and one of the two main characters, is a little boy, and then there's this mysterious being that's kind of following him along. It sounds like Josh Brolin, but it's not. Like, it's really cool. So I'm having fun listening to that. All right, we are going to stop the live stream and then go record our Patreon show, and we'll talk to you again next week. So thanks everybody for hanging out with us. Thanks for watching along later if you're doing that. If you made it this far, well, now the show is over. Bye.